I'm sure you've all been in this situation. Two players, real people, and they're on the same side, and it's a 6-foot table, say, and they've each got a command figure, and one of them is over there, and the other one right over there, and you look up, and they're having a conversation, so they're sat together in a pub garden. No. So this appeals to me as a conundrum. I've always gone back to Wargames Research Group. In my early days, you wrote orders. So the rule was, if figures were base contact, you could chat to whoever you wanted. You could take them in another room and you could have a private conversation because no one could overhear it. If they were not in base contact, you could not speak to them. End of story. That was it. And umpires would penalise you. They would throw a random misunderstanding dice because they'd say you've sent an order in some way that's misunderstood. And so here we go, I've got a table here that tells me what happens if you're out of command zone. So here you go, have that for a dice and see what you do. March 3 moves in a random direction. That'll teach you, make you shut up. So I thought I'd look at this a bit more scientifically. So what I've done is, first of all, I've taken a sort of, like a scientist, they have a sort of basic, I don't know what they call it, I'm not a scientist, but they have a sort of baseline study, don't they? So I'm assuming this is a fine day, weather conditions are not a problem, you're not in the middle of an artillery barrage, it's just not, there's no cavalry clattering down on your head, this is just you on a nice sunny morning in a field with your regiment. First thing, right? Okay. Other things are going to alter that, but that's up to you. If you're in a dungeon, this isn't going to be the same. If you're on a Napoleonic battle, that's going to be not going to be the same. But you could also argue it's going to get worse, isn't it? The first couple of moves of shot and shell, smoke and noise are going to be starting to appear, but they might not be so bad. But you get to the 5th, 6th move of a random volley of muskets, shot after shot after shot after shot. If you could see anything through your streaming eyes and the banging in your ears, because you've got guys either side of you with muskets, you're doing well. So I'm not worried about that. You can think about that. So my rule would be, men in base contact touching can talk as much as they want. Fine. So if you want to talk to someone, go and stand next to them. Or if you want to send a message, write it down on a bit of paper, put it under the base of a figure, and send that figure off to deliver the message. And when the message gets to the figure, he has to read what you've written. You can't tell him what you've written. You've got to read it, because that way you get all sorts of mistakes being made. I remember a game once, and there was somebody was commanding a unit, and they were at a crossroads, and they'd advanced up the crossroads, and a messenger came and it said, "Attack the wood," but he didn't say which wood, and there were 3. So poor beggar was like, what do I do? Attack the wood. Okay, I'll attack that one. Charge the light brigade, isn't it? So you start bringing that genuine fog of war, which I like. I like that. So that's it. That's speech. So how far can you shout? Because you can get zone of command, can't you? In Shaco, Napoleonic game, it's 18 inches. That doesn't work. That does not work. You cannot have a zone of command that far at 20 mil. 18 inches is 3 times too far, because logically it should be about 6 inches that you can shout a legible order and be understood. 6 inches to 15 inches, somebody could probably work out you were shouting at them. It means me, what do you want? And beyond that, you might hear something, but you've no idea what it is. So, if you want to shout at a unit, if you're a captain or an NCO of a unit and you want them to rally, you've got to be within 6 inches of them. Now, and if it's a big unit, not all the men will be within 6 inches of you. So you can only influence the ones within 6 inches. And if the others are wavering, they're going to carry on wavering because they can't hear you. Or they know you're shouting, but you might be shouting, run away. They might want you to shout, run away, and so that's what they do. I really think you should think about that. I think that should be in our games. That should be in all of our games. If you're sci-fi, you've got a radio in your helmet with one of them little speakers. Oh, good on you. Well done you. We're not all there. We're not all doing sci-fi games. So then I thought about, okay, rallying. Now, we had this discussion recently at the Games Club. How do you rally? Because in some rules, if you're on a set base, you could end up rallying well within the rules, pivoting, say, on that man, or like Shaco, which says rally any formation facing in any direction. But you could end up moving almost as far as a horse, as a cavalryman. In our English Civil War rules, you rally on the standard. English Civil War standards are massive. They're much bigger than Napoleonic ones. But I took Napoleonic as the standard. And so I looked at the size of Napoleonic battles, I looked at it being a nice day, and I looked at a number of factors. I mean, number one, standards are designed to be noticeable. You don't have a little teeny weeny one to hide it. You have it on a big stick for a reason, because you want them to be frightened of it and you want your lads to know where you are. So rallying on the flag sort of bridges the gap between what you can shout as a command, 6 inches, and what you can see. And so I would suggest we would say you rally to the standard, not to the shouting voice. So if a unit rallies as a unit, not because the officers made it, but because circumstances allow it to rally, it rallies back on the flag. It might rally back facing the enemy. That would make sense to me. But it shouldn't be. I don't think it should be anything like the Shaco. Yeah, any formation facing any direction. You go from chaos to an advantageous position. I don't think you would. I think you'd come back in dribbles. My English Civil War men aren't on movement bases or trays. They're all based individually. They're not based individually. They're on the individual bases. You know what I mean. So you can move them back. So there's the flag. He moves 6 inches. He can go 6 inches and stand by that flag. And so can he, and so can he, and so can he. And they can all see the flag because it's big. So they're going to come back towards the flag, and 6 inches doesn't bring them close enough, but they're on the way. And when they are there, they have rallied. And at some point, the officer will get within 6 inches, and he'll start to be able to shout at them and make them do things. Or he'll probably say to the sergeant, go and shout at them and make them do things. And the sergeant's not going, aye, aye, sir. And he'll go off and he'll shout at them. Because in my experience, is what sergeants do. Of whatever army you're in, whatever period of history, NCOs are grumpy, and sergeants are especially grumpy, and sergeants like shouting at you. I think I've covered everything there. That was very thorough, scientific, and well presented, like an Open University history professor. Well done, me.